All right, I'm Nick. Today we are going to talk about triggers. Okay, had a lot of questions about the M&P M2.0 carry comp. Now this is the all metal version, so the polymer version may be different, but we're talking about the all metal version. We are going to use the scale. We're going to talk about the triggers. We're going to compare the performance center trigger in this to an apex trigger in this, which is an all metal version of the M2.0 that was obviously released before the carry comp version. And then this is an M2.0 polymer 3.6-inch barrel with just a factory trigger, right? And about, I don't know, 400 to 500 rounds to the gun. So we're going to compare them. Now, I already used the measurement tool and I've done every single one of the guns 20 plus times just to make sure everything was, consistent, okay? So this trigger right here, it is the heaviest trigger on the table. Now, very duty pistol-ish to what it is. It has the, the most take up, the heaviest pull, and if you watch the reset, the longest reset. It's a duty pistol. I personally think this trigger is fantastic. Now, to keep all of the results as clear as possible, I'm just going to put my finger here. That way I can engage the safety with my finger and then use the gauge to pull it, and my finger will be a reference for where the gauge sits. So gun's flat on the table, back to the wall, reset, perfectly straight back. 5 pounds. Now, this pistol broke at 4.5 to 5 pounds every single time I did it, period. I did it in groups of 5, but every single time, well over 20 times, it broke between 4.5 and 5 pounds. Fantastic trigger, has a very, very clean wall, take up to a wall, you know you're there. It's kind of like a 2-stage trigger in a rifle, right? You know you're there, bam. Long reset, bam. Fantastic trigger. I'm a fan. I don't see anything wrong with this. There's no spongy feeling in it, and that's why I like it. You know exactly what it's going to do when it's going to do it. Now, this is the Apex trigger. Best trigger on the table, more than likely because there is practically no reset. It might be 2 millimeters. So, very clean take up, clean wall, perfect. Bam. Watch the reset. You're barely going to move. You heard it. Bam. Fantastic trigger. Now, if you buy this trigger, the trigger I believe is $180, and you're probably going to pay anywhere between $50 and $100 to have it installed if you can't do it yourself. It comes with a variety of springs. This is the heaviest possible spring variation. I didn't want it to be 2 pounds of blow on it and it go off. I just wanted a clean, crisp trigger in it, okay? And that trigger is fantastic. It breaks every single time. Remember, I did this well over 20 times. Between 4 and 4.5 pounds. So we do the same thing. Lay the gun flat. I just rock the gun flat. Bring my finger to take up the safety situation. Come right here. 4.5 pounds. Every single time, and really it's just under 4.5. So between 4 and 4.5 every single time. That is with the Apex trigger in the heaviest spring variation possible, okay? Best trigger on the table, in my opinion, just because of the reset. Now, this is the carry comp with the performance center trigger in it. The take up is a little bit less than that. Crisp wall, breaks good. The downfall would be, if you're going to have a downfall, which I think it's still great, is going to be the reset. There it is. You should have been able to see the slide release move. It might not have been as loud as something like the Apex. Clean and crisp, blah, blah, blah. Now, every single time I did those guns, pulled the trigger with the gauge, they stayed within that margin. First one, 4.5 to 5. Second one, 4 to 4.5. This pistol was not as consistent. I actually got it to go off at 2 pounds somehow, which still doesn't make sense. So I bet you I have used that gauge on that trigger 70 to 80 times, and I've got it to go off at 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and the highest rating was 4. No, just kidding. The highest rating was 4.5. And I wrote them down, and I just kept doing it and kept doing it. It breaks at 3.5 to 4 90% of the time. But there were some crazy outliers that I'm not going to say that didn't happen, because it happened, all right? And I'm giving an unfiltered opinion. I personally think the trigger is fine, it's a good trigger. I'm just telling you guys what I'm seeing. I don't care what SIG, Smith and Wesson, Glock. I'm not a fanboy. I like things that perform the way they're intended to perform. I like to shoot. I don't care who makes it, okay? Just do what it's supposed to do. So same thing here. I'm going to come to a wall. £4. Now, it is broke between 3.5 and 4 pounds 90+% of the time without failure. The breaking at 2 pounds is crazy to me, because I didn't do anything different, and it, even when I was pulling the scale back, it went off, and I was like, wow, that was crazy. So that was weird. I haven't been able to 4 pounds. I haven't been able to replicate that in the last, I don't know, 15 to 20, but it should be mentioned, okay? £4. So we're 3 in a row at 4 pounds. Just shy of 4 pounds. Why it went off at 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds, 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds, I don't know. I didn't do anything different, okay? I did everything the same the entire time. Like that. That one was, it felt like it was light, but who really knows, right? Because you don't realize it when you were shooting the pistol. You're out there, you're going to town, let's pretend to do it right-handed, which feels funny. Wall, bang. Wall, bang. Or better yet, wall, bang, reset, bang. My trigger finger is not good enough to sit here while just shooting targets and just go into town and be like, oh, that trigger was a 2-pound trigger. I can't do that. Or a 4-pound trigger. Or tell the difference between 4 and 3.5 to 4 and 4.5 to 5. I wouldn't be able to tell that, okay? Not too important to me. It functioning with a clean, crisp wall and a defined reset is important to me. This trigger, definitely not bad for what you're getting. If you have the ability to put this trigger in there, it's a whole different world. It's just a whole different world, okay? Fantastic. Maybe not for duty situations. They do make a duty kit. This trigger, plenty good enough for going to the range, tinkering, having fun. If you are a high-speed, tactical dude or just want to go shoot competitions and be a phenomenal shooter, maybe you want to put an Apex trigger in there with the lightest possible spring kit. That way, when you pull the trigger, there's less chance of having a flawed trigger pull because it's lighter, right? That's that. I told you guys I would do it, so there it is. This video, like all of the carry comp videos, will be in the same carry comp playlist, okay? Got a little long. Thanks for watching.